The assault bike is an excellent tool for giving you insight into your physical capabilities. And one of our very favorite tests to do on the bike is 10 minutes for maximum calories. Now this 10-minute test gives you really good insight into ability to do work, aerobic ability, essence, but also very importantly into your limitations and what might be stopping you from getting a higher number on that 10 minutes. Now there are a number of limitations that may appear as you undertake this 10-minute test for max calories. It could be a matter of lungs, blood, or muscles. And the limitation that we're going to look at today is the muscles and local muscle endurance fatigue. So let's explore an example of what it might look like to run into an issue with muscle endurance on the assault bike. So you set up the bike, you set it for 10 minutes, you go for maximum calories in that time, and at the end, you end up with a score of, let's call it 83 calories and 52 RPMs average across the 10 minutes. The thing that held you back from getting more than the 83 calories wasn't your lungs or breathing rate, it wasn't heart rate. What you really felt was very local muscle endurance fatigue in your quads. So it's that feeling of like lead legs. You just couldn't push any more on the pedals and your legs were absolutely exhausted. So if you run into this muscle endurance fatigue, there is going to be very specific ways that you're going to address this to improve your score when you go back to retest. For a broad overview of how we're going to address this muscle endurance limitation in program design, we're not only going to work on assault bike intervals, which we will do, we're also going to think about resistance training because the squat and the lunge movement pattern, improving muscle endurance in those through lifting weights is going to be a really important part of improving muscle endurance when it comes to getting on this bike. So we're going to do a couple days of resistance training with that squat and the lunge as a priority. We're also going to do assault bike intervals. And what we're going to do with these, we're going to take an approach where we actually start with shorter intervals and over a series of weeks, we extend them out. We're going to stick with our 52 RPM average and we're going to see how we can take that longer each week without running into that muscle endurance limitation to eventually be able to retest. So let's lay out what this is going to look like over a week. Monday, first day of the week, you're fresh. We're going to start with assault bike intervals. Tuesday, it's going to be an active recovery day. Take it easy. You did some hard intervals the day before. This could be going on a walk, doing a really easy spin on the bike, but just taking it nice and easy on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to do full body resistance training with a focus and a priority on the squat and the lunge pattern. Thursday, we're going to take a rest day again. Nice easy movement on that day. Friday, we're going to come back and we're going to work on some assault bike intervals again. Saturday, we're going to do full body resistance, but this isn't going to be a priority day. It's coming right off the back of that second round of intervals, so you can expect there to be a little bit of fatigue there. And Sunday, again, is going to be a nice, easy rest day. To go a little bit deeper, let's look at exactly what is going to go in week one of that program design. So when you come to the assault bike on Monday to do those intervals, you're going to go through 5 sets of 2 minutes on the assault bike at 52 RPMs and 2 minutes rest. So that 52 number, as you remember, that's the average that was held on the 10-minute test. We're doing 10 minutes of work, but we have those 2-minute rests in there. So the work should be very submaximal. It should not be a huge challenge, and you should be able to do it quite comfortably. Tuesday is rest, and then Wednesday is our first full body resistance day. So on this day, we're looking at that goblet squat or the squat pattern as a priority as well as the lunge pattern. So how we'll implement that, we're going to superset some upper and lower movements. We're going to go a goblet squat and a push-up. We're going to go a dumbbell lunge and a row with a dumbbell, and then we'll finish with a little bit of core work with some planks. We come back to do intervals again on Friday, and then we'll have a second resistance day on Saturday, where again, we're hitting upper and lower movement patterns, this time not focusing on that squat pattern. Now let's look at how we're going to progress those intervals across a period of 10 weeks until you get to the point where you are able to actually get back on that bike and retest and feel confident knowing that muscle endurance is no longer going to be a limitation and you're going to be able to come away with a better score. So like I just said, Monday, week 1, we're starting with 2-minute intervals, 2-minute rest. You'll come and do those intervals again for a second time on that Friday. Again, same thing, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. We're going to change the intervals each week But inside of the week, on day 1 and day 2, you will do the same thing, just making sure that day 2 feels a little bit better than day 1 did. So week 1, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. Week 2, let's go 3 minutes on, 2 minutes rest for 5 sets again. Week 3, let's go for 3 sets of 4 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. Week 4, we're gonna go 5 minutes now. So let's go 3 rounds of 5 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. After that, we're gonna go to 3 rounds of 6 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. From there, 2 rounds of 7 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. From there, 2 rounds of 8 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. Then 2 rounds of 9 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. Week 10, we're gonna go 2 rounds of 10 minutes on, 2 minutes rest. And then finally after that, we're gonna be able to retest that 10-minute assault bike again. A really important thing to consider throughout this is that our pace is staying the same. So the 52 RPMs that we started with in that first week, we want to be able to maintain that with consistency throughout all of these weeks. So we're doing the same pace and effort of work, but we're extending it for a longer and longer and longer period of time as that muscle endurance improves. Now, to make sure that we're successful with that, if you notice in a session that maybe you're not able to hold the 52, you end up dropping back to 50 and those quads really start to burn and they become the limitation again, that is a sign that we need to reevaluate. Progression has to be highly personalized, so you may find that this perfect 10-week layout doesn't work for you, and you need to spend 2 weeks at 3-minute intervals before you're ready to progress, or you need to take smaller jumps between intervals so that you can get to the point where you feel confident going into that retest. So I've laid out a progression where we've started with shorter intervals and built to longer ones over time with the purpose of improving muscle endurance. Now we apply this to the assault bike, but this could very easily be applied to something like a rower, a ski erg, perhaps going out on a run. If you do notice that you run into really local muscle endurance as a limitation when you're doing that work. So think about when you're trying to address muscle endurance, start with shorter intervals, build them out over time, making sure you keep consistency and sustainability in effort. Now, you come back, you crush that 10 minutes the second time through, muscle endurance is no longer a limitation and those quads aren't holding you back like they used to. Maybe now you find that respiration and breathing rate is an issue. Well, we have a video for that too, so I'm gonna send you below, so click the link below to go and watch our video on when the limitation on the 10-minute assault bike test is actually breathing.